Got Your Back Podstream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at mrdirk.com.
Well, how was that for a roller coaster ride? Oh my goodness. It's far from perfect, but certainly a heck of a lot better. The Oilers, with all kinds of offense and the power play, woke up. They draw blood. They're back in this series. A huge Game 3 win. It is now 2-1. LA ahead in the series. Welcome to Got Your Back, folks. It's going to be a fantastic show tonight. I'm really excited. Jason Strudwick is with me. We're going to have Rob Brown. And then we got Zuby working the controls at Growler Media World Headquarters in Kelowna. Also, a little bit later on, stick around. A new addition to the show, Ryan Marsh, former coach at the University of Alberta. Tons of coaching experience in and around this area, all over the world. A knowledgeable hockey man. And we're going to talk some tactics with him and what we're seeing tactically in this series. We got brownie points in Struddy's World. Ask Us Anything. Jam-packed show. And as always, Struddy, it is brought to you by our title sponsor, Play Alberta.
Where it's always game time. Bet on sports. Find your new favorite slot. Hit the tables. Play on virtual table with a live dealer. Grab your lottery tickets and do it all safely with the responsible gaming tools that help you keep you safe. Deposit today and get a $50 free bet with code GYB04. Visit playalberta.ca.
All right, I'm in my mobile Adrenaline Diesel studio. Struddy is in his home office Adrenaline Diesel studio.
If you need a part manufactured, replicated, or repaired, Adrenaline Diesel has you covered with their brand new machine shop. Visit adrenalinediesel.ca, everybody.
Oh, look at the synergy, Struds. We're just passing the puck back and forth tonight. We're keeping it tight tonight, buddy. We're like the Oilers' power play, my friend. And we're a well-oiled machine tonight. Holy smokes, did they ever need that, Struds? We'll get into more of it in the breakdown, but the headline here, finally the Oilers are in the fight on special teams.
Yeah, they tied. They tied the specialty teams, and that feels like a win. When you've been taking it off the chin left and right for the first two games, each team gets two. It just, it's hard to believe, but sometimes even the best players in the world need to have a win. So that's wrong. But how to have some things go their way. And today the power play looked really good. And the guy I'm looking at is number 2, Evan Bouchard, right? Very few power play goals for him this regular season. He gets 2 tonight. Hello.
Yeah. Okay. We got to give the fans a little credit here. That was a fantastic environment. The building was rocking. I have to say, Struds, I was shocked at how many people were outside. Now, I know last year in the first round, the weather wasn't nearly as nice, but man, did they come out in droves tonight. There were tons of people out there as I was walking in. The building was on fire. Zuby, you are one of the fans. What was your sense of it as it came across on television anyway?
Well, the building was amazing, but you know what I always think when I see, at intermission, they put whatever it's called, the moss pit, up on the screen there in the background while the guys are analyzing. And even at down 4-3, that felt bleak. And people are dancing out there and jumping around and having a great time. So you can tell that the atmosphere that runs through more than just the building too. It's out there, and yeah, it's amazing.
It was a smorgasbord of emotion, all kinds of emotion for Oiler fans tonight. And quite frankly, I really think that team ran the gamut too. I didn't necessarily see a team that was just rock steady through the whole thing, Struds. There were some ups and downs. We saw some ups and downs from the players, some emotion, but they stayed in it and they get a big win. So, pal, let's get to the breakdown brought to you by the Alberta Ram Dealers.
Hold on. I have to do a quick interruption before we get to the breakdown. So, Shogger, right before we start, Shogger's on different audio again tonight in his truck. And right before we started, I listened to him. I thought it sounded good. Right before we started, Shogger says, "How do I sound?" I said, I think you sound good. Struddy goes, "Yeah, except you have a bit of a lisp," which I didn't. I thought you were joking because I didn't really hear it. And then as soon as you were doing your intro, Shogger, then I started hearing it, and the chat is going crazy for your lisp. Mellow says, "I think Shogger lost a couple of chiclets." Canada Mike B says, "Shogger was at the dentist." Some stranger says, "Shogger sounds like Mike Tyson." Sorry.
No.
As soon as I heard you the first time, just because Struddy said, because I didn't pick up on Struddy saying
How bad is it? How bad is it? Can I keep talking? Is it all of my S's? If I say too many S's in my sentences, is it bad?
If you can avoid them.
Avoid S's. How do I speak avoiding S's? Okay. Is it kind of not usable? Like Brownie's gonna be available right away.
Yeah, he is. It's fine. Really, it's fine. It just the sequence of events and people's comments are what made me laugh. Your audio's quite clear, but the first time I heard it, it just sorry.
Glad we made your night, Zuby.
Yeah. And I'm only just having my first whiskey right now, so you can't blame that for me.
Okay, very good, very good. Did we do the Alberta Ram dealers?
No, sorry, I'll hit the button here.
Okay, Struds, Alberta Ram dealers, buddy.
Only at your Alberta Ram dealer during the month of April, get a Cummins turbo diesel engine and no charge when you purchase a 2024 Ram heavy-duty truck. That's up to $94.50 in value. This offer won't last. See your dealer today.
Okay, buddy. So, by a mile, their best first period of the series. Now, all I'm thinking about is how many S's I'm saying. You've totally got into my head here, Zuby. Best first period by a mile, Struds. They just brought the right stuff tonight. Good energy. They gave it back, but something to build off of in terms of a really good start with the requisite sense of urgency, I would say. Evander Kane said he felt like it was the first two games were like regular season games, and tonight they brought playoff hockey.
Yeah, I'd say in the first 6 periods, they played one period with, hard playoff mindset. And today they came out the first period and they're ready to go. They were on it. They were playing hard, playing fast, getting to the net, physical. There's a lot of good things. And they were just in the fight. Like they looked like they were fighting for it. They're not literally fighting each other or fighting the other team, but just willing to compete all over the ice for the puck. And that's the team that we know. And that's the team we've seen do this before during stretches this year, for sure, last year in the playoffs. But that's what they want to be, and they were there. That goal by Kempe at the end of the period, that was definitely squeezed the pills all across Northern Alberta. But they had the good start that they wanted and needed in their home building.
Yeah, definitely. So they cleaned a lot of things up, but there were still some mistakes, and I think by virtue of those mistakes is how the LA Kings get back into that game, Struds. So if we, it's 2-0 and things are looking pretty good for them. And then I think, you end up where Adrian Kempe in a 4-on-4 situation. Didn't love the call that made them 4-on-4. I mean, that was a weird, I don't know. The replay I saw, they just looked like they were just friendly little taps. I was surprised that those calls were made. But nonetheless, you're 4-on-4 and a pretty significant breakdown defensively. Another one of their best players just walking down Main Street with a clean look.
Yeah, generally speaking, 4-on-4, you're just going to stick with your guy, right? Everyone stays with their guy. Kempe's coming to the ice and McDavid is kind of by him. He leaves that side of the ice and comes over. And, nice play, get it back over to Kempe, and you can see McDavid sprints back over to get there, and just a little bit late. And Kempe is on fire right now. Like he is like just crazy good right now. And that's the guy you don't want to leave open. Brownie?
So he makes him pay, and then Brownie.
Brownie's
Hi, Brownie.
Here. Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Hi, guys. Yeah, no, the goal you're talking about right there. This is something that, and I talked to you, Struds, the other day. We were at the rink. It's almost like this is the Oilers' way of back checking, where the D-man has got the guy with the puck, and then the forward comes over and pressures them as well. The problem with that is these players are too good, and that's what they want you to do. They got two guys now. I'm passing it to the wide open guy. That was just you can't. McDavid can't come. He can't come over at Doughty. That guy's already taken. The most dangerous player on the ice, as you just said, is Adrian Kempe. It's not even close. He is the LA Kings' best player, and you just gave him all the time in the world to pick his spot. So, yeah, that was a misread. But I don't know if it's just a misread or if this is the way the Oilers play it, because you see it way too often.
Yeah, that's a good point, Brown.
So
you did bring that up because it's just they do it quite often where the guy just comes over and pressures the D. As a D man, I'm like, I've got this guy. Take somebody else. So, and they've been taught that isn't something new. Like this is something that from U11, you're like, everyone just do their own thing. Well, and maybe that is their style of play. And I can't understand why they do it if it wasn't right.
yeah.
No,
Okay, so sorry, Brownie. Did you have something else on that? So I think we're dealing with a little bit of a delay here. So just jump in if you need, Brownie.
No, all good. All good. You go ahead, Chugger.
Okay, so at that point, it's a 2-1 hockey game, and there's been a breakdown. And then to me, I know it was a very frustrating sequence for fans where Corey Perry gets run from behind, and there's no call, and then Evander Kane down at the other end of the ice does what he did. I agree they missed the call probably on Corey Perry there, but with that said, guys, Evander Kane can't throw a hit like that. I mean, it's a partial slew foot. I think he got called for high sticking, but I mean, that's a penalty that you can't take. You can't throw a hit and follow through with your leg like that. So never mind the far end of the ice. And then that's where the power play story for the Kings begins, Struds.
The penalty you can't take. It's to me, I would call that a slew foot. That's what it was. You lift your leg up and kind of kick the guy's leg from behind you. You can't do that. So, I love his enthusiasm. He was a huge part of the solution for this game, but that moment you can't have that. And he knows that. He's got to know in that moment. And then you go back to now that they go down the power play and they get a goal that deflects off a player's stick up over and just kind of changes the angle enough that it fools Pickard. So, you kind of create your own luck in this game, but that's one Brownie that's a penalty that you cannot have. I'd rather you have run someone over and get 2 minutes for roughing or boarding, but that one is, it's going to be called.
Well, it's going to be called, and right now the LA Kings power play is too good. You just can't give them any extra chances on the power play. You're right, it was easy. I mean, they missed the penalty on Perry. 100% that should have been a penalty, but that doesn't give you, free reign to go out and do something as well. You got to control your emotions. The LA Kings have been feasting on the Oilers' penalty killing. Don't feed into that. So it was an ill-timed penalty by Evander Kane that cost the Oilers another power play goal against.
So then the penalty trouble continues. I believe Jake Wallman is playing through something. He obviously didn't play at the end of the season, and his skating has looked up and down. He's a guy that normally can rely a ton on his skating, guys, but that penalty he took, puck gets chipped past him. There's enough of a gap there. He's got lots of time on a normal night to spin and win that race by a couple of feet. Instead, he feels like he's got to get in the way. And that call had been made earlier in the game. McDavid drew a penalty with something similar. So that standard had been set in this game for what the refs were going to allow interference-wise. Another, really, really tough penalty to take, leads to a power play goal. And then Wallman again, with his foot speed, gets beat off the wall for the following goal as well. So Brownie, for a guy that skates really well, some choices, wasn't able to use his feet maybe to his best ability on both of those.
Yeah, and good point by you, Schauger, that something is still affecting him. Because the one thing that we saw when Wallman came here was how good a skater he was. and he was always in motion. He just never stopped. The penalty, you're 100%. That was already been called in the game, so they're not going to allow it to happen. If we called one team, we're certainly calling the other. And then getting caught on the wrong side. I mean, Struds, you would know better than me. But first of all, you understand who the players are on the other team. Trevor Moore is one of the fastest players in the National Hockey League. As a defenseman on that play, you've got to be on the defensive side. And he didn't. He was right beside him. Now he's chasing. Now that's a goal that Pickard should have had, but it's also a play that Trevor Moore should not have had an opportunity to create, because I think there was going to be a penalty called on the play as well. So Wallman, a tough sequence, but I agree with you, Schauger, that there's something affecting his skating ability, and he's playing through it.
Yeah, I think that's well put. And so on that play with Trevor Moore, you've got to stay between your man and the net. And he kind of cheats a little bit, and Moore's able to just get a bit of enough, just half a step by him, and he's gone. And Wallman really couldn't even really challenge him. He was chasing. A good skater like a Kulak or Wallman should be able to get back and at least get even to him. And we're now, it's a fight, 50-50, rather than you're just behind, holding onto the guy's back pocket like you're, on a date. So you need to find a way he needs to find a way. If your foot speed isn't there, stay between the man and the net. Make him go around you, slow it down, or put him in the wall. Because if you go back to last game, do you remember when on the power play, I think that was Kopitar. Was it Kopitar that skated right by him on the wall as well? He didn't take the puck or hit the man into the wall. So now it's two times we've seen him beat wide. And this is a really good skater. This isn't Jason Strudwick out there getting beat. This is a guy who's known as a skater and a really good passer and shooter. So I think your point is well made. It hadn't really occurred to me thinking about what he's feeling right now or isn't feeling good on his feet, Schauger.
Well, and none of us can relate, but I can imagine when you're an excellent skater and when that's the strength of your game, that there are ways that you can kind of cheat a little bit, right? Relying on, those great wheels. I think Brett Kulak does it. Other great skating defensemen do it. So when you're having trouble skating, I just wonder how much it's instinctual for you to still be taking some of those shortcuts, and they just don't work for you when you're a little bit banged up. So a couple mistakes there from Wallman, and the stress it was palpable in that building. Brownie, you were there too. It was just like, oh my goodness. And the Oilers looked like a frustrated bunch. Draisaitl was just look, he came back and they ended up winning the game. His body language in that second period, holy smokes, was he letting the frustration show. But when they needed it most, cue Evander Kane. Struds, just take us through what you liked about his impact when it mattered there.
He's unbelievable. This guy hasn't played for 10 months, and I didn't think his first game was terrible. It was just kind of average. But tonight he was around the puck, on the puck, involved. You look at his stat line; he covered most of them with multiple shots and hits and all that kind of stuff. But what I loved about this goal is that he didn't give up on it. He stood around in that net. Kopitar is holding him like he hadn't seen him in years. And Kane kicks at it, goes off his feet, hits the goalie's pad, and he keeps whacking at it. Then he seemed to be the only one who believed there was a goal. And he's, falls down and gets up, hand in the air, and I'm like, God, that's just Evander Kane being Evander Kane. Then I watch the replay, I'm like, he might be right. And I'm like, holy jeez, I think he's got this thing, right? And then there's a little momentum. Then, okay, it's a call, whatever. We can go through that later. But I just love how he stays on it, Brownie. And incredible. 10 months, that is not normal. After 10 months off, generally speaking, people do not come back with that type of attitude or ability.
Well, they don't. I thought when he came back that he would be a physical force, but I thought it would be sporadic. Just thinking, okay, how much energy would he have? And you know what it's like when you're running around, when you're physical, it takes it affects you as well. Like, it is exhausting trying to run guys. So I thought, but he'd be able to be physical. But I thought the rust on the hands and the playmaking would probably take a while. I mean, these guys have played, some of them 83 games, 84 games already, and he's just getting into the action. He was so good tonight in this hockey game, taking the puck to the net, being physical but not silly. being just hanging out in the blue paint, yapping at the other team, doing all the things that made him a good player in the playoffs in years gone by for the Oilers. He was a difference maker in this hockey game tonight, and to me might have been the biggest difference maker for the Edmonton Oilers.
Let's get to the Weiss Johnson sound box, Struddy.
Yes, brought to you by Weiss Johnson Heating and Air Conditioning. The team over at Weiss Johnson are already seeing an increase in requests for air conditioning, so beat the rush and call them today. Specializing in servicing your existing mechanical systems or installing new ones, Weiss Johnson's here for all your home comfort needs. Visit weissjohnson.com today. Hit it.
Weiss Johnson, whoa.
Now let it go, Zuby. We cut the people short on Weiss Johnson last show because the vibe was bad, but I think tonight is the night you can let it breathe a little. Yeah. So let's do everything Evander Kane here, starting with the best comment of the night from Connor Brown. I asked him how impressed he was with Evander Kane's gamesmanship after missing an entire season. This quote, start to finish, is one of the best ones of the year.
He's one in a million, man. It's unbelievable what he's able to do when the lights are on. I mean, Kaner's is incredibly. I thought he had a great game tonight. Not only did he obviously have those two big impactful, but I thought he was holding on to the puck. You know, he's forechecking well. I thought our line was able to sustain some offense, and a lot to do with him. And you know, I missed a full season. It took me about 60 games to score, so it took him 6 periods. So there you go.
So good. Took me 60 games to score. Took him 6 periods. I was belly laughing in my chair when he said that. Zuby, we got some Evander Kane. Should we go to the man?
Yeah, this is on how he was feeling tonight.
I mean, I felt okay last game. You know, you never are going to feel perfect when it's your first game back in that long, but tonight in terms of my legs and feel out there, night and day, and I'm sure it's going to continue to get better.
All right, there you have it. Okay, guys, I'm getting home here. So we've sort of walked our way through the entire game up to the point where they ended up tying it. Maybe just as I sign off here, guys, talk about the power play goals and what a massive swing that was. And then obviously grab our relentless player in our poll, and I'll talk to you guys for takeaways.
Gotcha. All right. So, Brownie, let's talk about the power play goal. We'll have to get into the whole calling the timeout or by the coach, because that to me is the story of the whole night, and it could be of the series, depending on what happens. But the power play goal, you could tell they were switching up their breakout. And what they did is they give it up to Bouchard, carries it up, gives it to Leon, and instead of peeling off as a D-man might, as soon as he broke through the blue line, the big boy Bouchard drove the net. And I think that would surprise you as a D-man. And I think that they've just paused a second. Leon slides it over to him. It's a backdoor tap, and those are the best kind of goals to score.
Well, normally you see the Oilers on their breakout. Bouchard skates it up the middle and then throws it straight back to McDavid, and he carries it in. But teams sometimes try to cheat and take that away. So now all of a sudden, instead of 4 across, there's 3 across. And Bouchard can carry the puck. Smart play, give it to Leon. Now, I don't know if this is a set play or if Bouchard just realized, okay, these guys are all standing still. It's not the picket fence 4 guys across. There's room. And he took off, and Leon Draisaitl cocks his stick. He kind of looks like he's going to shoot, which frees his temper. And then just absolute perfect pass, Bouchard. I mean, that was one where Bouchard I'm just going to gently push it into the wide open net. So it was a wonderful give and go with Bouchard and Draisaitl. Completely caught the LA Kings by surprise. But I will get into it, the call by the coaching staff. But that, to me, was, I would have bet my house, I would have bet my neighbor's house, I would have bet yours and Schauger's house that the Oilers were going to score on that power play. That was automatic that they were going to score on that power play, and they were gifted a power play and they took full advantage of it and get the game-winning goal.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that in the takeaways, because that call was incredible. So stay tuned for that. It'll be interesting here. I'm pretty sure we're on the same page. But before we do that, let's get to the Relentless Player, brought to you by UCAN Youth Services, an Edmonton charity that is relentless in providing possibility for the youth in our community. Mental health is a foundation for growth and success, and the key to thriving, not just surviving. With 2 in-house counselors providing free therapy sessions, our youth have support while they navigate their struggles and rediscover their strength. Visit ucan.ca to donate today. I'm going to go with Evander Kane. I mean, honestly, Brownie, this is probably a bit of a cop-out, but the way his hands are functioning, even the first goal, makes a bit of a lucky play. I would call it a bit of a hope pass on his backhand to the front of the net. Ricochets off Connor Brown, but Brown's going to the net. And what I liked the Oilers have, and we've talked about this, the Kane had the intention of getting the puck to the net, taking it and getting it to the net. Of that one on the assist, then for the goal, he was just around there and Kopitar was hugging him. So for me, that's relentlessness that the Oilers really need.
Well, it's given the Oilers offensive push from further down the lineup, which is what they needed. So that line was fantastic. And you call it a hope pass, and it was. But here's the difference between that and having a hope pass when you'll see guys down behind the goal line throw it blindly out in front. When a guy throws it blindly out in front from behind the net and it misses everyone, you're caught now. And it turns into an odd man rush because you threw it, you're not in good defensive positioning, you don't know where the puck is going, and now you're in trouble. But Evander Kane came around the net. He was facing and skating towards his own net when he threw it back in front. If there's nobody there and the LA Kings pick it off, Evander Kane is already going back. He's going towards his own net. So he's in a safe defensive place. He put the puck in an area where there should be one of his teammates. And whether it hits the stick and goes in or just lays in the slot and they can get into a battle over it, he put the puck in a position to at least allow one of his players an opportunity. So that was a smart, hopeful play by Evander Kane that turned out to be a big goal.
I love it. Yep, that line was really good. Really love the veteran line. Zuby, do you have the poll? If I get to the poll right now.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's rock. Brought to you by DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center's YouTube poll. Golf season's here. Oh, it's here, right? Dust off the old clubs and get ready for the season. New grips, new driver, heck of a whole new set. DeBoer's Golf has you covered. Locally owned and operated, DeBoer's Golf has been in business for over 25 years, and they're ready to help you play better golf. Visit them on the corner of 53rd Ave and 99th Street or at DeBoersGolf.com. Great place. I was just saying the other day, picked up a new bag. Zuby, what do you got for us, buddy?
All right, here's the poll question tonight. Most pleasant surprise in tonight's game. We got Evander Kane. We got Evan Bouchard. We got the Oilers power play, or we have Connor Brown. Those are the 4 choices tonight on the DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center YouTube poll.
Yeah. Ironically, all those things got 2 points at least, right? Because Brown had 2 goals, Kane had 2 points, Bouchard 2 goals. Did he maybe have a third assist? And then the power play got 2. So all of them were hot. That's for sure, Brownie.
Yeah, 100%. I'd go with Kane. I think there's an expectation that Bouchard will produce offensively. I thought Connor Brown I thought he's played well for a while now. But to me, Evander Kane, I expected physicality. I didn't expect big moments offensively yet. So to me, that to me is the biggest surprise. And it is a pleasant surprise, but I don't think it'll be a surprise anymore. I think this will now be the expectation. You're going to see this from Evander Kane every game.
Yeah, and if they can get Frederick, Knobloch talked after, he thought he played pretty well. You're starting to see him skate a little bit better. Today I saw a couple spurts of speed, and I think he can do that more often. So Zuby, going to be interesting to see what happens the next game with these type of players. Can they find a little more health?
Yeah, for sure. That the shift on the broadcast that they highlighted of Frederick from last game, didn't look good. So it was nice to see him a little cleaner skating tonight.
That's for sure. Okay, let's step out here while Schauger gets himself settled. We are going to discuss the review call by the LA Kings, Jim Hiller, head coach. Mind-blowing to say the least. That's next and more here on the show. Stay tuned.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at secolandentistry.com.
For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has delivered a high-quality membership experience to Edmonton and area. And now it's even better. Drainage and irrigation improvements in 2024 have taken course conditions to a new level. This commitment to long-term sustainability means exceptional playing conditions all season long. Belvedere's tee sheet availability is unmatched, so join now and experience golf the way it was meant to be played, on your schedule. Visit belvederegcc.com today. If you're considering a vinyl fence, don't be fooled by cheap marketplace imitations. Get top quality vinyl fence from a trusted company with 20 years in the industry. With locations in Calgary and Edmonton, check out dlrvinylproducts.ca.
All right, this is a little more like it. Sibilance, Oilers with a win tonight. The series is now 2-1. S is sounding a little better there, Zoobs.
Yeah, you're gonna want to go back and watch this show again tomorrow with the chat on and see that first segment because everyone was very funny. They were very funny on the chat.
Nice. You're looking at the classic John Deere tractors. Iconic, that coloring. Takeaways brought to you by Horizon Ag and Turf. Deer season is now on at Horizon Ag and Turf. 0% financing for 84 months, plus save up to $4,000 on select John Deere compact utility tractors and Gator side-by-sides. Start saving bucks today at your local John Deere dealer. Visit Horizon Ag and Turf online or at one of their 13 Alberta dealership locations. Okay, I heard you guys chatting, Struds. You want to get to the call by Jim Hiller to review that goal from Evander Kane. Should we give the man a chance to explain himself first, yes. Struds? Should we hear from the man as to why he went ahead and did that as we get back to the Weiss Johnson soundbox?
We're at 4-4.
Playing safe, square, yeah. Well, all those things go into it, and that's why, again, we take a timeout. We understand the situation. We don't want to give him a power play, but clearly we felt that that challenge was in our favor. The league disagreed. We move on. The next step would have been for us to kill the penalty. That didn't happen either. So it's a tough stretch for us. There's no question. That's hockey. That's playoff hockey, especially.
Man, I have to say, I've really enjoyed interviewing him over the last couple of playoff series. He's really, really straightforward and matter of fact. Struds, now go ahead and carve him.
So the goal goes in, and there was a lot going on. There's bodies all over the place. Like I said, Kopitar's draped over Kane, and Kemper is laying in the crease. Goes in. I didn't even know if the puck went in. It couldn't tell on TV. Then I see a replay. I'm like, hey, the puck went in. I think this is a goal. And then you can see LA's delaying, and they're looking. You can see the assistant coach is on the mic trying to order a Big Mac and find out if this is illegal. I feel when you can't tell right away or close to right away, and now you call a timeout, I feel like they're trying to convince themselves that there must have been something there. So they were forcing themselves to see something that wasn't there. And as a head coach, I have to say, guys, I don't think so. We're not calling this because it's a huge turning point. The Oilers are rolling now, right? They got the goal. They've got some life. And this power play has been dying. It's due to break out again and get another one. call it. Now you get it. It takes not even half a second. The puck's barely dropped and it's in the back of the net, and that's the game. And guys, to me, this is the type of momentum shifting play in the series that can turn it in favor of the Oilers. If the Oilers come back and win game 2, it could be on the back of this. Now you're going back to LA thinking, oh man, here we go again. And the players will remember the call their coach made that should not have been made, because I believe they're trying to convince themselves, Brownie.
Good point. It's funny because the Kane goal was being reviewed. Bob and Mooner brought me on Chets. We all three of us were talking, and we're watching the replays, and we're like, oh no, he actually did get it with his stick, so it's going to be a good goal. And then we, like you said, we're watching the coaches take forever and then call the timeout. And me and Moon are on air. There is zero chance that this challenge would be successful. There's no way they can challenge this. It makes no sense. And then they did, and it's like that may have just cost the LA Kings a series. Because if you think about it, the Oilers scored, and the place is going nuts. You challenge, you lose. It's going to be a power play. And I said earlier, Strutt, I would have bet my house, your house, and Schauger's house they were going to score on the power play. So you gifted them a power play. But if you take it back and say, all right, you know what? They scored to make it 4-4. But if before this entire series started, you would have told me with 7 minutes to go in game 3, we are 1 goal away from going up 3-0. Because at 7 minutes, it's 4-4, more or less next goal wins. So if at 4-4, they accept, all right, Kane scored, let's go play. They were 1 goal away from being up 3-0. In a game that they were playing pretty good, they got some chances in the third period. So to me, it was an absolutely horrific call that may come back and cost them the series. And I don't know if you saw, you talked about the body language of Leon, and they showed Connor McDavid's face at one point. Did you see Adrian Kempe, how mad he was on the bench when they scored that power play goal? So, I mean, the LA Kings, they're all watching the same video. There's zero. That was just a terrible, terrible call. And it was seriously, it was 4-4. All right, we'll play 4-4, 7 minutes to go. Or we win in overtime and we could be up 3-0. Instead, it became a 7-minute victory march for the Edmonton Oilers with the lead there and then the empty net goals.
Yeah. I agree with everything. Not a good challenge. Let's try and crawl into their brain for just a second here. Do you think they believed that Kane knocked Kemper's stick out of his hand, Struds?
Well,
that's the only thing I could see. Because his stick was kind of underneath, and then it popped out. And I thought, oh, maybe they thought that's where it was.
To be fair, I wasn't looking at his stick, Schauger. I thought maybe they were thinking his right foot was limiting the ability of Kemper's feet to get outside in the crease, right there, because they were inside the net. But I think all that contact was started by Kopitar. Like Kopitar, I mean, even if he doesn't score, that should be a penalty. Like he did everything except get the takedown. Like it was crazy. His arms are literally around him, embracing him like long lost friends, Brownie.
Well, no, it's kind of funny, but that just goes to what you explained a little while ago when the LA Kings were taking so long trying to convince themselves that there was interference. Well, right now, Schauger's trying to find something, and you were trying to find something different, which more or less tells us we're looking for something. It's not there. It would have to be, to make that call, it would have to be 95% positivity that it's 100%. Going to go your way. And to me, it wasn't there. And you gifted a power play in a barn that's going absolutely nuts in a must-win game for the Edmonton Oilers. Take your lumps. It's 4-4, fine. It's next goal win. You're playing well. Your goalie's been playing well. Have a chance to go up 3-0. But to me, that was just a terrible, terrible decision that might come back and haunt the LA Kings.
Anything to be said for the fact, and I know the Oilers had scored a power play goal. I'm playing devil's advocate here. You have confidence in your penalty kill the way it's gone in the series. You know, a more confident coach who they've been able to rely on that special teams maybe that's another thing that contributed a little bit to it, Struds. That's the last excuse I'm even going to try and throw out there, but maybe the combination of those two things.
Yeah, and I hear you. Now, there used to be a fighter in the NHL called Christophe Oliwa, and he wanted to fight, so I fought him, and I beat him. I beat him. Now, in the same game, he asked me to fight again because he was mad that I beat him. I'm not an idiot. I knew I beat him the first time. I may have got a bit lucky, but still I beat him. So I'm like, I'm going to go for a tie. That's what I'm going to settle for here. So that would be my thinking if I was a coach of the Kings. Say, listen, yeah, the power play is not doing great. Our penalty kill's on fire, but they have killed us before, and let's not give them a chance to get us going. Because, Brownie, just to elaborate on what we talked about earlier, not only now could this change the series because of the way that, it gets them back in the series 2-1, this could ignite the Oilers' power play 2-for-2 tonight. Yep. So let's say the first time there's a power play, they score again, they're 3-for-3 in the last 4 periods. So that's a huge thing too. Don't let those guys get a fire lit underneath them.
That's a good point, Struts. And to go to your point, Shogger, if there's any thought in your mind that my penalty killing unit is good, then you don't challenge, because that means there's a hint of maybe it's not going to go our way. So if you're even thinking, our penalty killing's been really, really good, then right there you should say, okay, we're not challenging, because now I'm not 100% sure that this is going to go our way. So I don't care. Anyway, you can find a million different excuses of why he did it, but the bottom line, he should not have challenged that. There was zero chance he was going to have success.
So I was going to interrupt you, Struddy, right in the middle of your comment. For the first time this season, we went over 1,000 live on YouTube.
Yes.
No, Zuby, but you can't, because we dropped back down now. Now we're down at 932. You guys kept talking, and Zuby, you missed it. So you can't play that when we're... So everybody text a friend and get them to jump back on so we get back over 1,000. Zuby, watch it. You got to hit that thing.
There was
as soon as we get over 1,000, you hit that thing.
Come on,
there was something crazy there, though, because it jumped up to like 1,084. Like, it was like a huge, over 1,000.
Yeah, people noticed they thought I was texting while Struds was talking. I actually tweeted the YouTube link thinking, I wonder if we could get over 1,000. So we were over there momentarily. I was going to interrupt, but I always get in trouble on the show for interrupting, so I didn't. And then we dropped back down. So disaster.
Tweet it again.
At a certain point. Can we discuss what a big swing it is for this team that Evander Kane, is back and playing the way he is, but also, gentlemen, and again, I will reiterate, I did not see this coming. John Klingberg is playing some really, really good hockey. Struds man, I did not see that coming again tonight. Boom.
Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more with you. And we had written him off. I'll include myself in that conversation. I'm guessing Brownie was at least poking around in that way of thinking. But he's moving so well. And you know what? Credit Knobloch. I've said this before. It usually takes him two games to kind of find the correct lines and get guys comfortable. He is great with the puck on his stick. He makes those plays and is walking in the blue line is fun to watch. And he's mobile with the puck and he makes plays with the puck, Brownie. And maybe that's what they need. They needed another puck mover, an elite puck mover to help unlock some of the game. And maybe that helps unlock the neutral zone.
Well, think about it too. He's played, I think, 18 plus minutes both nights, after the guy that he took the spot from played 4.5 minutes. So that takes a lot of minutes away from guys. It brings their minutes down back into, where they should be. And you can put him out there with Connor. You can put him out there with Leon because he can make plays. He has been a revelation. And he took a lot of heat for the signing and the amount of money. And now with the Ekholm injury, this may be something that saves the Oilers season, because in the way that Wallman has struggled at times, I don't remember any plays where you're thinking Klingberg, I think he's been very, very solid for back-to-back games.
You're muted there, big guy.
Sorry about that. Last topic before we wrap up takeaways, gentlemen. Big guy. They're muted their big guy. I don't know why. That made me laugh. Goaltending. So the Oilers are winning that game, and Calvin Pickard's had a night. I wouldn't say it's much different than any of the nights that Stuart Skinner has had. I would say it's fairly similar. And then all of a sudden, ba-bang, ba-bang, right at the end of the game, you're like, whoa, 2 big ones. Those are big saves that are like, I know they were a couple of goals up, Struddy. But up until that point, I was thinking about the goaltending, and I'm like, I mean, they're going to get the win, so you probably go back to Pickard. But oh boy, performance-wise, you compare him to Skinner, and I don't think there's a whole lot of daylight between the two of them, those Struds. So do we agree it's back to Pickard, and what do we think of his night?
Yeah, 100% is back to it. Yeah, like the first goal, it's Kempe skating downhill, who's absolutely feeling it right now. Like he is absolutely in the zone. I mean, yeah, I guess you could be nice for him to say that one, but it's crazy how good that shot is and how hot he is. The Moore one is unacceptable. You can't a one-handed flicker to the net. You got to say
worse than anything Skinner let in. That was worse than anything Skinner let in.
It's not even close. It's not even close. But he competes and he made some good saves at the end of the game. So yeah, to me, he goes right back in there. On the flip side, they've scored 14 goals on Darcy Kemper. 14 goals on a guy who many are talking about perhaps being in the Vezina conversation.
Yeah, I agree. You go back with Pickard. And it's funny, you made the 2 big saves at the end of the game. And on air, I said those saves meant nothing except to the confidence of Calvin Pickard. And it meant everything. Because they were big saves. The Kopitar looked up in the air like, I can't believe he just stopped that. And there were a couple other subtle saves in the third period before the Oilers tied it up. The LA Kings were not good in the third, but they did get a couple of chances. And Pickard made a couple saves that allowed the Oilers to get the Kane goal and the power play goal. So it wasn't pretty, but it was effective. He was better than the guy at the other end. That earns him another game. And right now, you might see Calvin Pickard for a while, because if you have to make a change, it means the Edmonton Oilers are facing elimination or already done.
We got Ben Dofer, nice handle, on the stream saying Pickard didn't let in a goal in the third, gave the team a chance, plus Pickard had to deal with playoff butterflies. I mean, he got the job done. At the end of the day, you get the win, and that matters a lot. But in terms of overall quality, I wouldn't say that there was a significant upgrade in net. Again, we believe that it'll be Pickard in the next game. Chris Knobloch wouldn't confirm that. Okay, that was Takeaways, brought to you by Horizon Ag and Turf. When we come back, we got brownie points, we got Struddy's World, and then a little coach's perspective as Ryan Marsh is going to check in for our Take a Lap segment. We're going to go deeper into the strategy that we saw employed tonight, talk a little bit more tactics and such. So looking forward to that, and ask us anything as well. You're dialed into Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta. We'll be right back.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
Choosing the right health and dental coverage can feel overwhelming, but Alberta Blue Cross is here to make it simple. Their user-friendly website features a free quote tool to guide you through choosing your plan, or you can chat directly with one of their specialists for personalized help. Every plan includes access to personal, nutritional, and financial counseling at no extra cost. Visit ab.bluecross.ca/personal to learn more.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
Dobish? Okay, thanks.
All right, we're back. Time now for Brownie Points, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. Did you know the ultimate game day snack is Canadian owned and operated? Open in 1962 right here in Alberta. Support Canadian business. Take part in their April special. $97 gets you 3 pounds of jerky and is always free shipping Alberta-wide. And every purchase of the April special also gets you into a draw for some Got Your Back merchandise. Visit albertajerky.com to see more. Brownie.
Well, let's start with 10 brownie points to Evander Kane. He didn't play for 10 months. He's only got 1 game under his belt from a couple nights ago, and he was absolutely dominant tonight. A healthy Kane allows the Edmonton Oilers to create a third line that can produce both physically and offensively. He, Henrique, and Brown were doing it both physically tonight, and they score a couple goals. I thought Evander Kane had a fantastic hockey game. I've got 2 brownie points to Evan Bouchard, who only had 3 power play goals all season long, one of those into an empty net, but he gets 2 huge power play goals tonight. They needed Bouchard to step up in Ekholm's absence. He did not have a great start to the season, but was fantastic tonight. They need more of that Evan Bouchard. I've got minus 100 brownie points to the LA Kings coaching staff for challenging Kane's goal. There was 0 chance it was going to be called goalie interference, and 100% they were going to get both a penalty and get scored on. If the Kings don't win this series, that to me is the TSN turning point. That's a shout out to you, Schauger, and your other jobs. I've got 80 brownie points to all the NHL teams that were down 2-0 after losing the first 2 games on the road. 4 of the 5 teams came home and won game 3. It just shows media and fans no series is over until both teams get to play on home ice. Good for those 4 teams getting back in the series. And finally, my last one, I'm taking 3 big brownie points away from the Montreal Canadiens for not having a third goalie available in the arena tonight. Their superstar goaltender Montembeault left the game with an injury. They had to go to their backup Dubash. And then because he's in the net, they had to bring an e-bug down from the press box and sit in their dressing room. How in an NHL game, playoff game, with your season more or less on the line, do you not have a third goalie from your organization in the arena? I don't care if your minor league team's playing or what. This is the Montreal Canadiens. They were 1 puck to the head of their backup goaltender to having to put a Montreal cop in net in a game they needed to win. Just for everyone else, the Edmonton Oilers have Olivia Rodrigo practicing with the Black Aces. But to me, it was a huge, huge blunder on the part of the Montreal Canadiens not having a third goalie available if needed. And those, my friends, are tonight's brownie points.
Anything to contest there, Struds?
He was in the zone. I can't disagree with him.
I got a bit of a bone to pick with you for the distribution of brownie points.
Oh, here we go. That's 2 shows in a row.
Did I doubt him last time too?
You challenged him last time. I forget about what, but like, you can't. He's got integrity. You're now challenging the integrity of the whole segment.
What's next? Questioning the Weiss Johnson jingle? No, I do need to question this though, Brownie. Like, I know when I'm given brownie points, it means a lot to me. It does. It means a lot to me, and it feels good. So, but if you were to give me 30 brownie points, that'd be amazing. Way more so than if you were to give me 3. So Evan Bouchard has a phenomenal night, and all he gets is 2 stinking measly brownie points. You didn't even say giant brownie points. So I just feel like he deserved more.
Yeah, no, I expect this from him. So he doesn't get more. This is what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to get power play goals. He did, and he got 2 brownie points for it. I think he's going to sleep well tonight knowing that he got 2 brownie points. He's going to want more. So I expect him to be even better on Sunday, and maybe I'll open up the purse strings and pull out a couple other brownie points for him. But no, I don't give these away like candy, Schauger. I don't go. You know what? You're the Jim Hillier of these podcasts.
Yeah,
Terrible challenge on your part.
No, that was not.
No,
that was a
true.
fair challenge to the brownie points. Struddy, come on. You feel good. Like it feels good when you get a bunch of them.
But you're challenging the person who is in charge of handing out points. So for that, I would request, Brownie, you remove 5 points from Shocker.
No. It's over. Segment's over. That was brownie points brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. Segment's over. Can't take them away. I'm good.
I can tomorrow, though.
Yeah.
You won't remember. 2 days from now, you won't remember. Okay, I'll shut up now. Time now for Struddy's World. Zuby, roll that beautiful animation.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good. Yes, it is time for Struddy's World, brought to you by Timberhouse Developments, where if you can dream it, they can make it happen. A customized building experience where they have got you covered. Every house is unique. Every customer is like family. So go and see what you can dream up together. Contact timberhouse.ca. Happened again, Struds. I was on my way into the building tonight, and over my shoulder I hear, Struddy! And I turn around. I was standing with Josh Clausen. And this guy comes up, he's like, Struddy, what's up? And I said, what'd you call me? He's like, Struddy. And Josh goes, this is not Struddy. And the guy looks, and Clausen goes, that's Schauger. And the guy's like, oh, I think it might be the forehead. So
what?
I think they just see a big shiny forehead and make an assumption.
That's outrageous. That's hurtful. That one hurts, whoever it was. Probably was Josh Clausen saying that.
Minus 30 brownie points to that guy.
100%. And 5 to Clausen for laughing about it. Okay, so I love seeing intensity in a playoff game. And at the end of this second period, Montreal and the Caps, both teams were supposed to go off. They kind of started mingling, and all of a sudden violence erupted. Josh Anderson and Tom Wilson get into it. They fall into the bench. Then they start wrestling on the bench like two grizzly bears going after trying to get their favorite fishing hole dominance. And they're going at it. And there's other guys pushing, shoving all over the place. The coaches, both sets of coaches, they were showing no emotion. I would be laughing. I'm like, this is great. I got a front row seat. But these two guys kind of went at it. There was no punches thrown. There was a little bit of shoving and pushing around. And Wilson kind of making fun of guys on the bench after Anderson left. But I love that. That is an intense series. The Habs got what they wanted or what they needed tonight. But I love seeing them. That's how you start rivalries that don't just spill or don't just play in the playoffs. That spills in a regular season. The NHL needs that. We need those types of things. And it was great. It was great watching it today.
The NHL, just what they want. We know we need more brawls in the benches between periods. 100%. I think that's going to be their next motto. There'll be a commercial for that. Jason Strudwick says it was fun, but it also shows just the emotion in these games and how important it is to everyone. I think that is why the NHL playoffs are by far the best playoffs in any sport to watch, because players will do anything. They'll block a puck with their teeth if they have to, if it will give them an advantage in trying to win a hockey game. That Montreal series now, and now that series 2, Struddy, gets a little exciting. Both teams lost their starting goalies. Both teams' goalies got hurt in tonight's game. It'll be interesting going forward as both teams have to use their backups. But I thought that was fun. Anderson and Wilson, those were two big grizzly bears going at it 100%.
When you're playing in a series against the Washington Capitals and Tom Wilson, Struds, you need to have someone like Josh Anderson in your lineup, don't you?
Yeah, and they had Arbor Jack guy as well, and that's who actually started with. He started with him, then somehow he switched partners to Josh Anderson, and I'm not sure which one I'd rather fight. Probably Josh Anderson, I guess. But it's good. There's big like Washington's a big team. They got big groups of guys, and Montreal's not backing down. But that's what you have to do. You have to hang in there, right? You have to hang in there and just push back.
All right.
Have you guys seen? There's like all these different spin-offs of MMA fighting, and there's one where they like fight in a car. Have you ever seen a clip of that on like YouTube?
What kind of algorithm you got? What's going on in your algorithm?
Well, it's all different. It's many different fights. There's like 2-on-1 fights, or 2 guys against 5 girls, and I don't know, all kinds of crazy. Yeah, like it's all in Russia, right? But
you on the dark web? Like, what are you doing there?
But
Jimmy?
the car fighting one, that almost seems like the spin-off of an NHL fight is, you got to do it locked in the bench with a referee in there. Like that's what that was a bizarre circumstance tonight. I loved it, though.
All right. That was Struddy's World, brought to you by Timber Hoss Developments. Brownie, I need you to I'm just asking you to evaluate things a little bit. Like, go over your formula. I'm just asking you to just think about it and think about your consistency, and maybe if it needs to be dialed in just a little. Just give it some thought between now and after Game 4 when we chat again, my friend.
Last word.
He can say whatever he wants. Go ahead, Brownie.
Schauger.
Last word to you.
Schauger, I'd like you to text me how many brownie points you have in the bank right now. So I need to know exactly how many I'm taking away.
Take them all
on Sunday night. Well, no, I'm taking all of them plus 1.
Last word.
I'm not saying anything. Brownie gets the last word. Rob Brown, thank you. Thank you for joining us and getting the last word, and we look forward to chatting again in a couple of days. See you, pal.
All right. Good night, everybody.
All right. See ya. That wasn't one, Struds. I know I do that a lot, but that wasn't one.
But that is right now. That is the last word. That is the definition of last word, Zuby.
You want to? No. You can throw a commercial here, Struds, if you want.
No, you get the last word. I'm giving you the last word on the last word conversation, so go ahead.
No, I agree with everything that you two said, including emptying out your account of brownie points.
All right. Looking forward to this next segment. An all-around great dude, heavily experienced head coach as well. We'll talk a little tactics. LA Edmonton. Ryan Marsh joining us here on Got Your Back for the first time. Coming up after the break. Stay with us.
So at Timber Hoss, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe in problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
Join over 250,000 Canadians who have upgraded to Canada's best mattress. Douglas is proudly made in Canada and ships directly to your door for free. Douglas is easy to set up. Enjoy perfectly balanced comfort and an easy-to-clean machine washable cover. Get a free sleep bundle with your Douglas mattress. Try risk-free for 365 nights. Get your Douglas mattress today.
All right, time now to take a couple of laps, brought to you by Acon. If you're a skilled tradesperson or construction professional looking for work in Western Canada, Acon wants to hear from you, one of Canada's original industrial contractors, building some of the largest multi-year industrial projects in Western Canada. You could be part of it. If you want to join the Acon team and start building what matters today, fire off a resume. The email address is trades@acon.com. trades@acon.com. Struds, we felt like we needed to up the hair game on the pod a little bit. So square jaw, full head of hair, stands out big time on a show like this. For the first time, Ryan Marsh joins us. So a couple years at the University of Alberta, coaching the Golden Bears, 8 years in the Western League between Edmonton and Saskatoon, went over to Germany as well, a couple years in Spruce Grove with the Saints as well, a wealth of coaching knowledge, and a guy that's listened to a few Got Your Backs over the years. Marshy, welcome to the show, buddy.
Good to be on with you guys. I truly feel like I'm coming out of the pen tonight. This is, you kind of wait the whole night and You get a tap late. I've had the ball jacket on this whole time, just waiting and staying warm for you guys.
We're bringing in the lefty from the bullpen, Struddy. So, Marshy, so we wanted to talk to you a little bit about, you and I have had many conversations in the press box, and I've always just noted at the tactics that you notice, the little things that you pick up on. And we did a segment before this series started about what the tactical matchup was going to look like. So maybe just what did you notice tonight from a tactical standpoint that maybe the Oilers picked up on, did a little bit better job at? Like, what stood out to you tonight?
Well, I did actually think the PK was better, but they still gave up a couple goals, which was unfortunate. They were late in those kills, but I did think they were much more connected tonight as a group. Generally tonight the faceoffs were way better. They won a lot more faceoffs, but they still lost a couple key ones on their penalty kill, which leads to that in zone time, which could be dangerous with that group. But I did think tonight it's all about being connected and the four guys on the ice. And that's what was really evident last year with that kill is there was set forward pairs. There was an F1 and an F2 on their forecheck. There were set D pairs. And that's kind of had to be adjusted as the years gone on with, players leaving and players getting injured. And they've really not quite got into sync this whole year. And, we look at game one, that first kill in game one, it's Josh Brown and Wallen on the ice together as a pair. And that's probably the first time they may have even played together at all, like in this whole year. And now they're killing the first penalty in a huge, early in game one. And I think they've just been a little bit out of sync. So tonight I noticed they were in more sync early on, and there was much more pressure from the D. Like when the puck got below the dots, there's kind of, different teams do different things, but the forward kind of hands off that player coming down the flank a lot of times to the D. And once they get below the dots, the D will inherit that player and put a little bit of pressure. They were kind of staying inside the dots a lot in LA. I noticed tonight they were pressuring, they were jumping that, caught LA by surprise a bit. It created some loose pucks and some loose puck battles, which again eats away at the time of the kill. And then they were able to not have to spend so much time dealing with LA and those five guys on their power play. They did miss a couple clears, which was unfortunate. And, again, going back to the two goals, they both kind of came off the rush, just kind of either directly or indirectly off the rush. And that's, again, not being quite connected and different personnel on that back end. It's new guys that, especially Wallen is not playing a lot of PK time. And Podkolzin and Arvidsson are out there for that second one. They don't kill a whole lot. They kind of mop up at the end of a kill, kind of like Fogle and McLeod did last year. And so they were out of sync in those couple goals at the end, but much better generally up until those points. They just didn't really have anything to show for it, which was too bad.
So when you say they're in sync, like give me an example to our listeners, what that might look like between the forwards and D.
Well, if you're talking about there's kind of three parts in a PK where there's the face off and the responsibilities off the face off, and it's so important to win that draw and have a good plan on the win and be buying time for that D to get that puck out, and then obviously a loss plan and getting into your spots. But then there's there's denying the entries and contesting the blue line on any kind of dump puck where the power play is breaking out and entering. And they've always kind of had an F1 and F2. For instance, you see Brown is a very good F1. And when they're at their best, he's steering the play into the wide ice where the D can stay up and contest that blue line a lot easier than them just attacking through the middle. And, the D haven't been as comfortable staying up. They haven't been getting that steer. They've been getting slightly interfered with a little bit, and they haven't been getting that steer, and it's allowed for some easy entries down the wall. They had a goal against in the last game just based on that. And then in zone, they're running a system where the forwards are really trying to steer hard and steer over the top. And if that steer gets broken, F2 from the middle of the ice is coming up with really good timing to keep that play to one side, to keep them on that one side and not allow them to get to that weak side where you see those flanks get dangerous, like Fiala gets very dangerous, or Kopitar scored the other night. So tonight they did a pretty good job of that. Like that's when they're connected. It's a great kill. We saw it firsthand. It's a great system, but you got to have guys in sync. You got to have guys on your toes. That was the other thing. I thought they were on their toes, ready to jump and be assertive tonight, much more earlier. But you got to read off each other. It's being connected, but it's also reading off your partner. So there's forward pairs, there's the D pairs, and then like Struds has said, you want to be connected as a group of four and know when to jump, know when to go. And that last goal with Podkolzin, he's kind of going, and I thought Kulak was doing a really good job of pressuring where he was, and all of a sudden Doughty's got a clear shot to the net. There's no one in the lane. There's no one taking away that shot, and it's a seeing eye shot that goes in. So that's what I was seeing tonight.
Talk to me about the 4-on-4 goal against. Probably a little bit more, I don't know if complicated is the right word, but lots of moving parts and guys moving around and such. Where's the core breakdown on the 4-on-4? To my eye, I thought Connor McDavid was the guy that got a little loosey-goosey with some swinging and such in his own end. That was my instinct. But what did you see there, Marshy?
Yeah, great question. And I think Struds kind of talked about it a little bit already early on. I caught a little bit of you guys chatting early. You talked about it being a man-on-man scenario 4-on-4. And that for sure is in zone. Like once they get in zone, it becomes man-on-man for the most part. There's teams doing different things, but generally you see 4-on-4, it's generally man-on-man. But through the neutral zone, a lot of times you'll see a 1-1-2. So you'll see two forwards stacked, kind of behind one above, one the other. And then you'll see the 2D kind of in their normal positioning. And again, you're just trying to steer the play to the outside and then hand those players off to the D off the rush. And what I saw tonight is LA, again, they're very good off the rush. That's another huge part of the series in my mind. They caught them in a little bit of that gray area where it was going from, a line rush into some O-zone/D zone time for O-zone time for LA, and they caught them a little bit in a sorting that out, and that's all communication and reading and whether it's verbal or nonverbal communication and handing off guys. And you're right, it looked like McDavid kind of just lost track of a pretty important guy at the last minute, and you could see he knew it. He was so frustrated off that goal. He was just a little late, but the D had kind of stayed up. So, but again, that's what good offenses do. Is they create that gray area as they enter from the rush into the zone and create those. What LA's doing right now is they're creating time and space. And when they have time and space, they have elite shooters. Like it's unreal how good Kempe is. Fiala is another one. These guys can shoot the puck when they have time and space and they're not being contested. And they did a great job there just to create enough time and space in some gray area to create that 4-on-4 goal. So really tonight there was only that one 5-on-5.
Yeah. Okay. Next thing we're going to get to our HSE core adjustments segment. This is where we look ahead and discuss if there are any big changes needed, what they might be. So put your brain to that for a second here, Marshy. That's brought to you by HSE Core Services. If you're a small to medium-sized business, HSE Core has your back when it comes to health and safety compliance. From creating and managing a tailored health and safety program that meets all legislation and core requirements, HSE Core, supporting client operations every step of the way. Visit www.hsecor.com. We'll go back to the Weiss Johnson soundbox. Here is a thought from the head coach. Tactically, what went better for them tonight and what he feels still needs to be worked on. Let's listen to Chris Knobloch.
Well, as much as I'd like to say that we'll never make a mistake and it's going to be so clean, that's not going to be the case. I thought it was much better than the first two games. There were still some things there, maybe we didn't need to give that up. Our reloads to give up an odd man rush was maybe a little slow. We were hanging around the offensive zone a little bit longer than we needed to. Again, our gaps from our defense, they could hold the line a little bit longer just so they're not getting those chances. The turnovers, I guess that's probably the biggest thing that was the improvement. I thought we broke the puck out pretty well. I think we've done it pretty well throughout the series, but just having one or two big mistakes, and I can't recall many of those tonight. Watching the video, I'll probably find some that I ignored, but I think our game is getting better.
So if you're running the video sessions, Marshy, what are you focusing on in terms of adjustments for the next game?
Yeah, for me, probably the biggest thing that jumps out is I think in all 3 games, I find right now, and I don't have the stats right in front of me, the hardcore stats, but it seems like the Kings are generating more off the rush. And it has to do with their speed. They're doing a great job of any kind of turnover when the Oilers are in the O-zone, and those, especially high in the O-zone, those turnovers, they are so quick to jump and transition and counter punch the Oilers. And it's got the D on their heels a little bit. And there seems to be at times not the back pressure that you would like to see to allow those D to stay up. So now the D are backing off, trying to handle the speed. And now if they're not generating something off the rush, the initial rush, the Kings are pulling up and delaying. And they're looking for late guys coming in. And they're doing a great job of beating some of the Oilers forwards up the ice and creating those chances. And really, if you were to start the series, I would have guessed like that would have been the Oilers doing that to the Kings. Like that's their game. And that's where I'd like to see that flip. As an Oiler fan, I'd like to see that flip and turn where now the Oilers are putting them on their heels and they're generating those chances. That's when they're at their best. But for me in these first 3 games, even tonight, and it was better, but I still think, especially in that second period, there's times and they're not killing that rush soon enough. And when they don't kill it soon enough, not only are they not getting counter chances the other way and getting on offense and catching the Kings out of structure and getting those odd mans that you see them capitalize on a lot, but they're then spending more time in their O-zone, their D-zone and playing defense more than they should. And so that would be an area that I would certainly be digging into and seeing, is there something maybe we can do a little bit differently, and hammering that home in preparation for Game 4.
Struds, you can get the next question here, but just to back up your point, Marshy, scoring chances off the rush, 10-4 LA tonight. Struds?
Roger that. When you look at the whole situation of the Oilers getting to the middle of the ice in the offensive zone, how would you evaluate Game 1, 2, and 3?
Certainly better tonight. I think, seeing where they scored their goals, they were in the paint. Like the Kane goal is exactly what you want. Like that is playoff hockey right there. That just is like, chills going down your back when you see that puck go in. It's the second, the third, the fourth chance, whatever it takes to get push that puck over the goal line kind of thing. But I thought it was better times. It was nice to see Nuge get to the paint and get that first goal. Great screen on Bouchard's first power play goal, again in the paint in front of the goalie's eyes. And they need more of that. They're at times they're controlling the play in the O-zone. They do a great job. They have great movement. And there's tactics and there's strategy, I'm sure, to kind of work the puck around the outside. And then there's cues when to kind of slice through and attack. But I think if they're not generating what they'd like to off the rush, then they really got to, like you said, get to the middle of the ice and attack and work. And it's not easy. That Kings group does a really good job to defend. And but again, it's plays like you saw on the Kings goal or on Kane's goal against them that's what they need to do.
You're getting some love on the YouTube stream, buddy. In your debut episode, getting some love. You got Mike chiming in, says, more Ryan on the pod, please. Whoa. Now, I'm going to assume he means you and not me. I'm going to go out on a limb there. Zuby, are we thinking that's to Marshy and not me, Zuby?
He might mean more Ryans. Maybe he figures we could get 3 Ryans at once.
A few more. Great hairline, Ryan Smith's nose says. So
you're throwing me right out of my routine right now, because usually I'm saving this for the morning and maybe getting in some sort of a jog or something in the morning and listening to you guys. And tonight I'm up having a coffee and like I said, got the ball jacket on ready to go. So I'm going to have to adjust this tomorrow morning.
Honestly, buddy, that was really good stuff. That's really valuable stuff. And it's just taking things down an extra layer. And I think that Oiler fan really appreciates that, because this is a really smart fan base. So I think any opportunity we get to dig a little bit deeper with someone with your level of coaching experience, I think it's great for the show. You've been listening for a long time. This is your chance. This is your chance. If you got anything you want to say, if anything bothers you, if I annoy you, you want to tell Struds to be nicer to me, if you're annoyed at Zuby, like this is your chance, Marshy. What do you got for us? What's the feedback, Coach?
Not a traffic cop.
I'm very positive. I think you guys do a great job. I've told the story before. I found this podcast when I was coaching in Germany, and as Struds knows, from playing over there, as you go to bed, things are just kind of getting going in North America. The games are starting. And so, you get up and you want information, you want to know what happened. And you guys were keeping me in tune with what was going on with the Oilers when I was over in Germany. And then I was, it's just become a staple. It's become a staple. And
right on, buddy.
I love the banter. You guys are the humor, the Struds humor. I got to admit, Struds, like
Easy.
There's a few stories. Easy. I won't go too far, but you do give me a good chuckle. You do give me a good chuckle.
Great. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, he's so freaking funny. We all know how funny Struds is.
Come back anytime.
Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you so much. Thanks for the breakdown. We'll do this again, pal.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Marshy.
All right. That is Ryan Marsh making his Got Your Back debut. Actually, next time we have him on, Struds, we'll make sure we save a little bit of time at the end, and we'll get a Got Your Back story from him, because we still want to get those stories from new guests on the show. But some great perspective there. People are liking what they're reading. More Marsh, says Mark Wendlantz. There's a bunch of stuff. Marshy's Minute segment incoming, says the Dr. Carpy.
Oh, nice.
The guy looks like a machine, says M. Materi. Marshy's in good shape, Struds. He's in good shape.
He's in good
annoying.
shape. I'll save us all a lot of time. I got a Got Your Back story for Marshy. We used to hang out at the billiard club, and I had his back many times.
Nice.
You're welcome, Marsh.
Whoa! Can't wait to hear that story. All right. That was our HSE Core adjustments, brought to you by HSE Core Services. Before we get to Ask Us Anything, Struds, let's rip our way through a little scoreboard action, shall we? And that's brought to you by Canadian Club. The all-new CC Club Classic 18-year-old high proof comes in at 58%. Their highest proof Canadian Club Classic to date. Full-bodied whiskey with aromas of caramel, toffee, spicy vanilla, and a rich oak with that butterscotch finish, buddy.
Yeah, so the Oilers are one of three teams that had to get a win tonight, down 2-0. So we'll start with the Canadians. Get the win, 6-3 over the Capitals. Huge win. The place was rocking. I saw the start of the game and quite a bit of it. Absolutely rocking. As I mentioned, the brawl in there. Emotions are running high, but that's a huge one for Montreal. Now back in that series. The Devils, who I didn't think would win a game. I thought the Hurricanes would win this in 3. Get it done in double overtime. And future Hall of Famer Simon Nemec scores in overtime to get it done. So Devils get themselves back in that one as well. So 3 teams back in it, 2-1.
All right, and tomorrow, a busy Saturday, 4 games in action. Tampa Bay taking on Florida, Vegas, and Minnesota. The Leafs and Senators. Leafs trying to close out that series as fast as possible. And then you got the Dallas Stars and Colorado Avalanche. And, of course, the Oilers ready to rock and roll again on Sunday night. That one a 7:30 start, so not quite as late. That was our scoreboard brought to you by Canadian Club. Zuby, hop in and wrap up the poll, buddy.
All right, I just got to find the shot. Here it is. Still got the music trailing off here. All right,
okay.
The poll question tonight was, who was your most pleasant surprise tonight? Probably not surprisingly, Evander Kane getting 50% of the vote. Evan Bouchard, 26% of the vote. The power play, only 10%. A little bit surprising. Connor Brown got 3. Maybe it should have been Klingberg as the 4th choice. There were a number of write-in votes for Klingberg as well. And nearly 500 votes and a crazy stream tonight.
Right.
We're total views up over 2,000, well over 2,000, and I think more of the same over on the Twitter, 5,000 or something on the Twitter, and total.
But perhaps most importantly, am I seeing on the stream that the Blominator's brother has joined us tonight?
Oh, no.
Blomsky 2.0?
Yeah. What's his name?
Yeah, Chris Blom. Chris Blom is on the stream tonight.
Matt went off. I like
that. And let me just say 2 quick things about that. Matt texted his brother, said, get on here. We're trying to get him to 1,000 views. So appreciate that, and that Chris came on. And number 2, I got to say, and a bunch of people noticed this tonight, Blommer said in a comment, we need a win on Sunday. We still need a win on Sunday. Blommer called the Oilers we. So
I love it.
The transition is nearly complete.
Blomsky's worried. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Struds. No,
I say Blomskers, he's a little bit worried that he needs some good karma because it sounds like Tocchet might leave.
Ooh. Yeah. Might be coming over full time. Also, it sounds like, did he call his brother Chrissy on the stream? So did he refer to his brother as Chrissy? Because Hank809 is saying Matt Blom calling his brother Chrissy is the play of the night.
I missed that.
I'm not sure if that was a thing or not. Oh boy. Imagine that.
I think he might have just left.
Right,
so now Blommer's going to have to text him again and say, get back in here. They talked about you for 3 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome to the pod, Chrissy. And Blomskis, thanks for bringing them along for the ride. Let's get to our Ask Us Anything segment. What an amazing stream. Just fantastic. Home game tonight. You came out in droves, cheered on the team. You hopped in here with us, over 1,000 tonight. That was amazing on the YouTube live stream. So let's get to some of your questions, Sal. We brought to you by Mortgages by Maria. Interest rates are dropping, making this the ideal time to consolidate your high-interest loans and credit card debt. Combining those into one manageable payment at a lower rate helps you pay off your debt faster and keep more money in your pocket. Contact Maria Gallus at mortgagesbymaria.ca to learn more. All right, Zuby, let's blast through a bunch of these quick and call it a night because she's 1:30 a.m., bud.
Yep. All right, great question here from Mark Wenlat. He says, how will the Kings only rolling 3 lines and 2 pairs of D affect them as the series progresses? We had Bruce Kurlock, of course, on saying, and he's not the only one, but he said pretty specifically that he thought a longer series favored the Oilers. What do you see in Struddy?
Yeah, Curly said, because I think he meant it more so the team will get healthier and play better.
Right.
Because guys will get themselves back in there. But as far as the Kings, it's a lot. If it let's just pretend this goes 7 games. If you're only playing, 4 or 5D, it does make it really hard. And the Oilers were guilty of the first couple of games of that. Now they seem to have stretched that out. I think Emberson was around 10 minutes tonight or something. So that's not bad. And then up front, the Oilers, are running a pretty decent amount of forwards in there, whereas the Kings, if they're going pretty short, it makes it hard. It does eventually wear you down. And then also, when you get tired, you can kind of leave yourselves open to injury or nicks and bruises. So I think that would favor the Oilers for sure.
Depends on how much the Oilers decide to hit them. Could be a bigger advantage.
There was an observation here. Canadian said he feels like Klingberg has played well enough to stay in the lineup regardless. And there was a secondary point I was going to add about that. Gabriella saying Stetcher was skating today. Any word on how close he is? We talked about Ekholm at length last night. So now what's going to happen, because this doesn't seem like the problem we thought they might have. If Stetcher's ready to come back, has Klingberg played himself into a spot, and then who comes out? Is it Emberson, Schauger?
Yeah, I mean, Klingberg's not coming out. He's not coming out. I mean, he's in there now. So no chance. So it would probably have to be Emberson, I suppose. Yeah, Struds, that'd be the guy. 906 he played.
There is no chance that Klingberg, as he is right now playing, comes out of this lineup. He's just too valuable. He's moving the puck. I'm not sure where this come from, and I'm glad that I'm wrong. Emerson, he does kill penalties. That might. I mean, Stetcher can go in there and probably do it. It's not like they're killing it right now. They're killing penalties. Hey,
11-7. 11-7.
Yeah. So you have to take who would you take out though? Up front.
Yeah. Good question.
Like,
not an obvious answer there.
Yeah, when you look at it, who's the guy that deserves to come out after tonight's effort? That's pretty tough.
Yeah, I mean, 10 minutes for Corey Perry, but I don't think you're pulling him out necessarily. He was in and out before, but I don't think this year. So, yeah, maybe a bad suggestion by me. Next one, Zuby.
No.
Lick Fury, referencing Jim Hiller, I think his decision tonight. He says, have you ever had a coach made a terrible decision that directly resulted in a goal or a loss, and how deflating was it? Can either of you guys think of in your
Struds, and that's not including a coach deciding to put you on the ice, Struds.
How about not playing me? That's number one. No, I remember. So we were playing a playoff series, and I think it was against Buffalo in New York, and we were down. Let's say two. I want to say 2 goals deep in the game, and Yager never killed penalties. Well, our coach Tom Rennie put Yager out there, and he injured himself, if I remember correctly, on the penalty kill, his shoulder, and he wasn't the same after that, and so. That didn't directly result in a goal, but I remember you sometimes you have to accept like you're losing and fight for another day. I understand what Tom was trying to do, and I get it. I understand it, but that was one that I'll never forget.
Nothing for me.
Okay. This is kind of, very opinion based, but a couple people made comments to this end. So I'll bring it up. Kurt Kenny says, there's something about how the team plays in front of Pickard that is different than they do in front of Skinner. Do you think that's true? Do you think it's different? Do you think it's better? Struddy, can you think specifically of any teams you played on where it was a difference in the way teams played in front of a different goalies?
So, I mean, like strategy-wise or effort-wise, you're not changing. You still don't want to get scored on. Now, do you take more chances in front of Connor Hellebuck than you do your backup goalie? Maybe, but this isn't the case here. So the only thing I can think of is maybe they bring a little more energy to the game because they don't want to, they want to play well for their backup. But like strategy-wise or risking things, I just can't see it, guys. I can't see it.
I just wanted to chuck one out there. Nurse almost hit 27 minutes, says Aaron St. Pierre. Struds, were we a little remiss tonight in our breakdown of the game? Did we miss a pretty rock-solid performance from Darnell Nurse? 24-25 at even strength. I don't know. What'd you think?
Yeah, he was good. When we talked with Curly before the series, I think it was he who said that Nurse has to play mass. I said Kulak, and I don't think there's a bad answer when you're down an Ekholm, but I thought Nurse was good tonight. I think there's a lot of good things off that back end.
Neil Garrity with an observation that I would kind of echo. He said, did Byfield play in tonight's game? For a guy we talked about so much in the first couple games, he was pretty quiet. Was it a matchup, or what did they do to him this evening? Struddy,
yeah, I was screaming from the rooftops about how good he has been, and he wasn't quite as effective tonight. But then you see Kempe and Fiala still, finding a way to get there. So, youngish player still trying to find his way, and playing on the road is harder than at home.
Yeah, he's on the board here for 4 giveaways. 1943 played. He was -2. So, yep, quieter night for him for sure.
Well, just for context, the top line was -4, right? So
yeah, fair point by you. Gordy Parch says all that praise from Struddy went straight to Byfield's head.
yeah. Send me an autographed jersey, though. No, but the top line of Kopitar, Kempe, and Kuzmenko were -4. Now, whether you believe in -4 or not, they were on the ice for a lot of goals against.
EMG says, what, if anything, would you change for Game 4? There's a number of people, D. White specifically, adding, is it time to move Kane to the McDavid line with Hyman? I mean, it's a winning lineup. Are you guys changing anything, Struddy?
So I think the 2 lines that really clicked tonight was McDavid, Nuge, and Hyman scored the first goal. And then you had Kane, Henrique, and Connor Brown. So I like those 2 lines. And Leon's line was good. They didn't score a lot. I might look at putting Perry up there beside Leon. Skinner, does he get a look there? Just have some scoring on that line. Now, Arvidsson did hit the post, guys, but they have 2 of even the fourth line was going, but that second line, Shagar, they got to score. They need create, score, finish.
I don't know that they'll change anything. I mean, the Kane line goes out and generates a couple of goals. This is a classic notable, and then Zuby will do 1 or 2 more after this comment here. This is a classic notable, Struds. Chris Knobloch today did something I have never seen him do in his time here as head coach. He practiced this morning in lines that he did not use tonight.
Nice.
Haven't seen him do that yet. Different D pairings. Had McDavid and Draisaitl on the same line at skate this morning. He head faked. That's like out of Jay Woodcroft's playbook. He hasn't done that before.
I don't like it. We shouldn't have to hide. Just, this is who we are. We're going to come and we're going to beat you. That's my thought. But anyways, I'll get off my soapbox.
Okay. I got two still I want to get to here. Vane Mretzky started out by saying, do you think Henrique's boots are too slow for the PK? He seems to be a step behind. Although someone else pointed out, I don't think Henrique has actually been on for the power play or the penalty kill goals against, as they've been coming later. There was someone brought that up as well. But let me, in addition to that, add this. Gomez says, Struds, fix the PK in 10 words or less.
Yeah, that's not easy. Bring back Ekholm and Cece and Vinny.
Make saves. Make saves.
Goalie make, that's 10.
Yeah, but honestly, I loved what Marshy said about them skating downhill, and they can rip that puck when they're coming downhill. You know, Fiala and Kuzmenko and who did I miss there? Rishaug, Kempe.
Okay, this is an interesting one. I mean, I think everybody's buddy Don Cherry used to talk about this quite a bit, but Noel Rinsky says, do the coaches want players reaching their sticks out on the shots? 2 goals ramped straight up tonight. Struddy, when you see those, what... I understand, you know, I think we all understand what they're trying to do is if you disrupt it enough, especially at close range, you can deflect it wide. But what's the official... what line do the coaches toe when it comes to that?
Well, honestly, I didn't have many coaches talk about it. I did it all the time. Like it's about timing and get there just as they're about to release. So obviously on these 2 goals, they were just behind, right? You're a fraction behind of where you need to be. So I think that, you know, when it happens, it looks bad for sure. Didn't look good on the, what was that? The second goal. But I'm a believer. If you like, it's about timing. And you're just a step behind.
All right. That's it, right? We're done with that. That was the last one.
We got, I wanted to, Timu the Great said, my dad is at Edmonton and went to the game, his first ever. Wanted to give him a shout out on the pod. They're watching on the TV. Hopefully, Timu the Great and his dad. I said, what's your dad's name? I never got a message back, but to Timu the Great.
Timu the Great. Mr.
Timu the Great's dad, Mr. Timu. And I got it, Shogger. I hope you're going to go back and watch the start of tonight's show with the chat on, because it was really funny. Tyler Gritton asked, did Ryan get stung by a bee tonight? Taylor Zottel with, this is a pretty good call. Did Ryan pick up an Invisalign? They're walking out of the ring tonight.
That's quality.
Yeah, and there were many others, and everybody was really... It actually created this really lighthearted, fun atmosphere on the stream. It was like there's some people with some really fun and creative stuff, and not too offensive, I don't think. But
all good. All right, that was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Mortgages by Maria. Man, it's crazy late. Let's wrap this thing up. Our play of the day is brought to you by Gallery Dental. Take the first step towards a stress-free dental experience, providing modern dentistry for today's patient with the most up-to-date dentistry, sedation, implants, and so much more. Contact Gallery Dental, YEG.com. I believe I sent something in earlier in the day for play of the day. Cannot for the life of me remember what it was. It is so late. My brain is completely fried. What is it, Struds?
Do you have it, Zuby, about Travis Green, head coach of the Sens?
I don't. Well, I looked at it. Was I supposed to get something?
Okay, I'll paraphrase it. It's late. I got it. No, I got it. So Travis Green was asked about Nick Cousins shooting a puck at Anthony Stolarz of the Leafs in warm-up. The league said they were looking at it. Travis Green says, I probably shouldn't comment on it. This is an active investigation. And everyone laughed. It was a great line from Travis Green. He's a really witty guy. And then he went on to say, well, listen, like they played against each other. People, honestly, I remember shooting pucks at goalies that I knew or played with, or shoot pucks at guys that I played with on the other team in the past. So not a big deal. He did get fined. Can all move on.
Here it is.
Well, Mark, you know, it's an active investigation. I don't know if I should be commenting on that.
So good.
Have you reviewed the video? I have people that have advised me maybe not to comment on it.
All right, little laugh there from Travis Green. Moment of levity for the Ottawa Senators. Flag on the play to you tonight, Zuby. We're up till 2 a.m. doing this show, and on the Ray and Dregs Hockey Podcast chat, Zuby was trying to get them to go earlier tomorrow morning. So, Struds, we're taping a Ray and Dregs in 6 hours tomorrow morning because Zuby was pushing for it to be earlier. You want to join us, Struds?
I'd love to jump on there. Yeah, let's do it. What time?
It's actually
I'm up
5
earlier
hours.
than that. I
got soccer games. I got birthday parties tomorrow. I got lots to tend to. So I'll sleep.
Mix
when
in
I'm
some
dead.
sleep, pal. It's why you've got the forever head cold going. You need some sleep. Get to bed, everybody. Great show
Good
tonight.
night.
Thanks to all of you for joining us on the stream. Dynamite numbers, and we get to do it at least one more time meaningfully. Oilers and Kings set to go in Game 4 on Sunday. We'll talk then. See ya.